Hey, I'm back. This is the second video this week, and the theme is teen girl tips. So, in a previous video, we talked about moms and parents of teens and the things that they can be mindful and aware of to model for their daughters. Because I've said it before, the number one way that our kids learn anything is through imitation. And because humans tend to mirror other humans in terms of like our behavior, then you can begin to see how important it is for moms to learn some of these tools and strategies and step into their own awareness in order to be able to teach it to the girls. And of course, we know that the number one predictor for success in life isn't about the amount of brains or talent or beauty that you have. It is very much about your ability to manage the world socially as well as manage emotions. So these tips this week are really for moms of teen girls or parents of teen girls to check in and see kind of where you fall on these particular topics and what maybe you can do to step into your own awareness and model practicing these things for your daughter. Okay, so today is about setting intentions. Maybe you've heard me talk before about the importance of setting intentions. Most of us just sort of get up and go about our day waiting for things to happen to us, and then we respond to them, whether that's people or circumstances or our coworkers or our spouses and partners. We just kind of bounce off of other people, right? We allow things to happen to us, and then we respond. And because we're all mostly operating from the lower part of our brain, which is that primitive part, which is built for survival, a lot of times that's why we feel like we're experiencing things in a negative way. If we're operating from the top part of our brain, from that frontal lobe, we can step into a more mindful experience, right? We can kind of determine what kind of experience we want to have. So setting intentions is like going into your phone or any new electronic device that you get, and it's switching the default settings, right? It's customizing what you want to gain from your daily life experience. And it's really important that when you do this, maybe you do it in the morning or as your day starts to unfold, so that you can gain the most benefit from setting intentions. But you can also set intentions right before you go somewhere. Like, I'll give you an example a little bit later in this video of how I'm going to set an intention for something I'm going to do in just a little while. So setting intentions isn't really about stating the way that you're going to discipline or kind of your parenting philosophy. That's not really what I'm talking about. When I talk about setting intentions, I'm talking about kind of deciding who you want to be in the relationship. How do you want to show up? What's your highest purpose as a mom or a parent of a teen? And really what happens is when we set intentions, we are kind of doing a couple things. We're eliminating a lot of the drama. We're not getting so caught up in how we handled a particular situation and what went wrong and what went right and what we would do differently, and if we had that parenting moment back again. When we set intentions, we really tap into the place that we want to come from, who we want to be in that situation. Do we want to be love? Do we want to be presence? Do we want to be gratitude, right? That kind of allows the rest of the drama of the situation and all the kind of minute details that are really in the big picture not important, kind of helps that fall away. And for you to really center on, what is my intention? as the mom or the parent in this situation. So it becomes a guidepost. It's if you're not sure how to best handle a situation, you can always check back in with your intention and go from that place, if that makes sense. Intentions are more about the energy behind what you're doing versus being outcome focused. So a lot of times what happens as moms is we tie up our worth, we tie up our success, and whether or not our kids are behaving a certain way, making certain grades, handling their friendship drama in a certain way. And so we want to make their success or their failure, mean something about our success and our failure as a mom or as a parent. And that really convolutes things. That really twists things up, right? It's kind of the same thing as I was talking about before when we make their experience, their drama, their current challenge mean something about us. It doesn't help us and it doesn't help them. So setting an intention can help separate those things. And it can say, okay, in this situation, I want to be present for her. I want to listen. I want to be a source of peace. I want to be a safe place for her to land. And then you can focus on being those things and not focus on being those things and making sure she feels all those things. Does that make sense? Okay, and then setting intentions, again, just allows you to show up in the best possible way for your daughter. And I think that at times, again, research has shown us that families today are having fewer children. Family sizes aren't as big as they were in like the 70s and the 80s and even the early 90s. So what we're doing is we're having fewer children and we're giving a lot of our focus and attention to those fewer children. And we're starting to parent them and kind of helicopter over them at very early ages. And we're starting to really buy into they have to have this tutor and they have to play this sport year round and they have to have this GPA and they have to perform this way and they really should go to this school because this school is the best. And right, so we're really like pouring all of ourselves into this child. And what's happening is, again, we are really tying up our worth and our value in how they're behaving, how they're doing, how they're performing. And it's showing up. We're starting to see kids feel a lot more pressure. They're feeling a little bit, their anxiety and depression is spiking. They're staying in adolescence longer, but they're kind of almost like old souls, kind of before. So they're growing up more slowly and they're having their first experiences later in life, but we're kind of jacking with their spirit, right? When we make them be like a projection of us, right? We've already gone through middle school and high school. It's done. That experience was ours. It was ours to have. And I was talking to a client yesterday. One of the reasons why I decided to talk on this topic today was I was talking to my client yesterday who was like, oh, I just don't want her. I see so many similarities. I see so many things that she could face that I faced that, if I had known then what I know now, I wouldn't go through that. And so I feel this pressure and this certain amount of time to get these lessons and to show her and to have her do things differently. And you can almost feel, when I tell you that, you can feel the tension. You can feel like this race and this stress and the way, the energy that she's showing up for her daughter is so intense. And her daughter is already going through a lot of physical, mental, emotional growth right now. And to add all of that, and you're thinking you're helping, it's coming from a good place, for sure. Doing all of this because you love this child and you don't want them to have to deal with the same things and the same struggles and the same challenges that you dealt with. But it's really, really important that we remember that their challenges and their struggles and their obstacles are happening for them. They need to have these experiences so that they can grow through them. And just because you're kind of standing there like, Wonder Woman, kind of like shielding them, the universe it knows what it's doing, okay? And it will keep offering those lessons until the person that's intended to learn them learns them. So no amount of us standing in front of that challenge for our child will keep them from eventually having to deal with that. And you want them to deal with it early on when the stakes and the consequences aren't as great, right? So setting your intention and modeling how to set an intention is so important for your daughter, to remind her that she really is the creator of her experiences. And one example I have is I'm getting ready this evening to go meet some old friends for dinner. I'm super excited. And instead of just rolling in there, now this really isn't a good example because this group of women that I'm going to be with are like coming home, right? They're just, it's so easy to just relax into that evening and have a good time with them. But one of the intentions that I'm setting as I go out the door to go into that space is I really want to feel connection. I really want to feel like each one of them, I'm able to walk away feeling like I've gotten caught up with what's going on in their lives and what's happening right now that's important to them. And so I'm setting that intention. I'm putting that in my head before I leave. And that way I'm almost assured that when I leave that space tonight, that's the experience I'm going to have. So when your kids look at you and say, will it be fun? What's going to be there? Who's going to be there? And they're kind of giving you grief over going to the next family event or the next picnic or graduation party or whatever's on. Ask them to set an intention for that experience. What do they want to leave there having felt or having enjoyed, right? Teach them how to set intentions before the event happens and just see what happens. And every day that you get up in the morning, try and start a streak, like a 4 or 5 day streak, where you get up in the morning and you just kind of put your hand over your heart. I like to do that. I like to do something that kind of reminds me to connect with myself and state your intention for the day. I want to be an example of what's possible today. I want to be the highest version of myself today in every interaction. It sounds like you're really making a lofty goal there, but really, I want to be at my best today, whatever that may be. These types of intentions remind us that we're in charge. We're in charge of every experience that we have. We can't control how other people show up. We can't control how they feel, but we are always in charge of our own experiences and the kind that we create for ourselves. And I think that's a great way to model that for our young people. So good luck with that. Let me know how that goes. I always love to hear from you all and to hear back and to hear your comments when you do get a chance to watch this video. Do you make it a daily practice to set intentions, or maybe journal, or just before you go somewhere, do you have like a little mantra or something, an affirmation that you say to make sure that you're that you're connecting? I'd like to hear it if you do. All right, guys, have a great rest of your evening, and I'll be back on your screen tomorrow. Toodles.